this ground plane I don't need to see, so I'm just going to turn the visibility off. All right, let's talk about, oh wait a second, let me, let's talk about what? All right, so this meteor comes in and hits on frame 42, meaning of life. Oh no, 43. So what I want to do is I want the ground, let's say I don't really need to do it for this one because I have kind of a rocky, dusty ground, but let's say I'm doing like, I'm crashing into asphalt or something. How would you make it destroy the ground? Let's go over this a little bit, see if my knot holds. I should teach knot tying too. No, you should not. Oh, sorry everyone. All right, so, oh yeah, previously this was our schematic, right? So we covered this, right? So you guys got all that, right? So let's take the eraser. Get rid of some of this. So we've got our debris cloud going, right? Where our emitter is going to be. This is going to hit right here. Basically what we're going to do, this is going to be from the top view up here. Top view. Okay, so our meteor is going this way. Right? Awesome. It's going to hit right about here on the ground, right? So it's coming down at an angle. It's going to hit the ground here. Basically what we need to do is we're going to take a polygon plane. Let me use a different color for this. We're going to use a polygon plane for the ground. Right? And the point of impact, actually it doesn't have to be in the center because it's going to kind of break out that way. Basically, this is going to be a polygon plane, right? Basically, you want to divide it. How this is divided, we're gonna split it in some parts to kind of make the chunks, and then we're gonna extrude it so we get some thickness to it, right? So we're gonna start with a plane, right? Maybe it's divided like this, the defaults, whatever. We're gonna go in and we're gonna cut polys. Right? Basically, just fracture this. Now, if Maya had a fracture function that worked, we could do that. But the shatter function doesn't work too well. So basically what we're going to do is cut this so that you've got a lot of pieces and then cut around that kind of spiderweb style. Right? And then what we're going to do is disconnect. We're going to select all these facets that we make and separate them. So we've got separate pieces of that geometry, right? And then what we'll do is we'll take it, extrude it, and turn it into cloth, nCloth, right? Now, actually, maybe we should do that part first before I even talk about the rest. Oh, I'll talk about the rest of it anyway. Okay, so basically that's going to be this layer right here. Is going to be our extruded, this is now a side view. The perspective is now a side view. Okay. So imagine this is nCloth with thickness, right? Oh yeah. You ready? Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to make gravity fields that have volume to them, right? So this is going to be a gravity field. Imagine that that's straight. And then this is going to be a gravity field. So basically you're going to sandwich your nCloth in between two gravity fields. So this has gravity going down. And this has gravity going down. Right? The nCloth for this one is going to be in a different nucleus. Unique nucleus. Usually after you say something like that, you want to push up your glasses. what you're going to do with this nucleus, the reason you want a unique one is because you're going to have no gravity set to this one, right? So your gravity with 0 gravity. And the reason for that is because when we set this up to simulate, we don't want it to move. We want it to just stay where it is. So this is going to be simulating, and if it were in one of these gravity fields, it would move, but it's not by default. It's just sitting there. So then what you do is you're going to take, it has helper geometry here. It can be your meteor, whatever, right? This is our helper geometry. And this is going to come in and collide with this cloth. We're going to make it collide. Same way you did your object that smashed into your flag and ripped it apart, right? You're going to make it collide, make this collide with your nCloth. Then what's going to happen is when this collides, it's going to push through it, right? And you're going to get this kind of a thing where it's going to push through your ground, right? It's going to fracture based on that, and once the pieces get into your gravity field, then they're going to move the direction they would move normally, right? Also, what we're going to do is we're going to make a little bit of a helper cradle for this, right? So we're going to make geometry that, from the front view, if your geometry plane is here, that you're going to make nCloth, it's going to be a ground that gets broken. We're going to make like a little trough that this is going to sit in, so that when it goes down, it can hit that and not just fall into the distance. It's not distracting at all. Yeah. So basically, you've got this trough here. You've got the you must have thought I was doing like the YMCA or something, not TJ. You've got the nCloth ground here, and we're going to make some geometry here. It can just be a cylinder that you cut the top off, or cut half of it, so you've got that edge. Basically, you just want something to collide with the ground so that when the pieces fall, they don't just keep going into nothing, right? So now let's make all of that in a computer. Stay. Oh. There we go. All right. All right, so let's go from the top view. And our meteor comes in that way. That's not really conducive to anything. All right, that's okay though. So it's going to hit there. Let's create a polygon plane. That looks good. Over here. I'm going to cut it up first, and then when I'm done cutting it, I'll rotate it into position. So I want to, let's say, maybe 10. Move this back so that it hits right about there. All right, wireframe on shaded. So it's going to hit not the first knot, but the second one. Let's get all that stuff out of the way. Show lights, get rid of those. Show dynamics. What is that piece? Oh, that's the fluid. Show fluids. There we go. All right, so what I want to do is I want to cut this up so that this right here is the epicenter where that meteor is going to hit. So I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do is freeze my transformations and delete my history on it. Then I'm going to go into my polygon tools here, and where's the cutter tool? Whatever it's called, mesh. Is it cut faces tool? No, add divisions, right? No. What's the name of the tool? They changed it.
Interactive split tool.
Interactive split tool. Thank you. Who's teaching this class?
I like the old one.
I like the old one too. So basically, we're just going to cut this up. And this is going to be our fracture that the comet makes. So however detailed you want this to be, that's what you're going to need to do here. Now, in the sake of time, I'm not going to cut this up into super tiny chunks. maybe. Now there's a lot of programs that do demolition better than Maya. We don't have any of them. So we're doing it this way. But if you worked in the industry doing effects for real, you probably would have something like Pull Down It or Blast Code that would do awesome demolition for you, which basically would automate this whole part, where you could just go in Photoshop and paint a black and white map where white is not ripped and black is your fracture, and just apply your fracture map to it, and it would cut it up and do it really quick for you. We have to do it old school. But that's okay, because the concept's the same. Okay, let's say we like that. We like it. Okay, now what I need to do is select these edges that are here. Let me delete my history again. What I want to do is select these edges. And this is the part I'm going to need modeling help with, because I always do it wrong. How do you break those apart? Is it separate?
Yeah. Mash, separate.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Nope. Only works on.
It's like detach, isn't it?
You can try detach.
Detach component. That's what it is.
And it'll split all those components apart.
Let's see. Did it actually do it though? Yes, it did. Awesome. Detach it is. So now we just have to remember which ones we did.
Are you still trying to keep it as one mesh or all separate meshes?
You want to be separate pieces.
So you could select those faces off and then extract them all.
Actually, I could probably do this and then just deselect the ones that aren't.
Is that actually quicker?
In my mind it
I
is.
think you just have made more edges to select that way.
Yeah, I think I did, didn't I?
Select
What if you just
select the
double-click the
faces
line?
that you already
Paint
cut
selection tool. What's up now? Paint selection tool, and I'll just do this. Is this going to be quicker? Let's see. In my mind, it's quicker. Where's Grady when you need him? He probably knows how to do this quick.
Skip a line.
Wow.
All right, guys. Gosh. Tough room. You missed one, stupid. What's wrong with you? This class sucks.
Worst.
You still missed it.
I know.
Right.
Top left quadrant, you missed one.
Right. Left. There you go.
Ah. I'm deselecting them all. I totally lost track of what I was doing. I was like, oh, make it blue. Oh no, zoom over here. Get rid of that one.
Just on that left corner there. Yep. Keep going up too. There's one that you didn't select up there too. Top left. There you go.
Oh yeah. All right.
There's
You still
one
gotta
that
go.
you've got right from
In
the
the middle,
middle to the
right in the center.
Go from the middle to the right. No.
Oh yeah. Here. One more down.
Right.
B-17. You sank my battleship! Down, left.
Yeah.
Left. Up.
There you go.
There's one on the top right too.
Top right.
Yeah, I'm going up.
Up more. Scroll up.
And don't deselect.
There. There you go.
Oh.
I think that's it.
Nope, there's one right there too. Where? Top left, right there.
Right there, yeah.
You gonna separate them out or are you gonna selection setting?
Yeah, just in case I deselect it.
Deselect them all.
Damn it. Edges. Okay. Mesh. No, it was detached component. All right, awesome. So now these are separate pieces, even though they're the same. So just to test it, if I grab this and move it, awesome. Rip. All right. So what I can do is take this geometry. Oh, I have to put it in the right position too, actually. If you remember correctly, this comes in from an angle. I want it to something like that, probably. Also want to set this to play every frame, which it already is. Okay, max playback speed, real time. All right. Let me save this. There's our render cam. All right, that's going to work great. Save this. Let me call this ground plane now. All right, so what I want to do with this is I want to select my faces and extrude them, give them some thickness. Awesome. So now let's make this nCloth. Save this. Freeze transformations. N dynamics. nMesh, create nCloth. I'm going to go to the option box because I want a new nucleus for this. Create new solver. So it's in its own nucleus.
It's on the case.
Right? Create cloth. Boom.
Oh.
So now what I want to do is on this, I'm going to go to presets and I'm going to pick soft sheet metal. Just because it'll give it a cool reaction to it. I also want to go into, on my nucleus 2, go into my gravity and set that to 0. And then I want to select this. Actually, I want to select this, my comet, and go to nMesh, create passive collider, solver nucleus 2, make collide. So now when I play this, it should dent the ground. What? Okay, now it's falling forever because why? There's no gravity, right? So it hits it and it just drifts off into nothingness, right? So what I want to do is set up my little catcher thing for the ground. Let me save this. Graphic top view. I want to do a couple things to this. I'm going to create another polygon plane. Rotate this similarly to what the other one is. And like I said, this is just going to catch the ground so it doesn't go off into nothingness. So what I can do for this is turn on my X-ray mode here. I'm going to select just the points that are right here. Press B. So I get a soft selection. And kind of pull these down. Basically, I want to make sure I just don't get any outer edges. And this is just going to give me my impact crater.
How do you get the
I press B to get soft selection. B as in
bottom?
boy. B as in vulture. Just kidding. Vulture's not even a word. All right. So I'm going to take this and pull it down under my ground plane. Like that. Modify, freeze my transformations. Delete my history on it. And I'm going to make this collide as well. Create passive collider. Nucleus 2, make collide. Now on this, I want to crank my friction up to like 0.9 and my stickiness to like maybe 0.25, just because. So now this is going to catch those pieces so they don't go off into nothingness. What?
Oh, I don't think it caught him.
I think I didn't back it up enough. Yeah, there it goes. Now they're floating up because they collided and now they're just kind of going off into nothingness. Now the other thing I want to do is I can lock down the corners of this using end constraints, right? So remember when we did on the ropes, we tied them at the top and the bottom using transform, right? I can do that with this. I'm going to go to my top view, turn on my whatchamacallits,
Right. Yeah.
my verts. Basically, I'm just selecting the outer edge of that thing there. End constraint, transform. Back it up a few times. Beginning, there we go. It's locked down. We're almost done. We got to do our gravity fields, and then we're all set with this. Now, this looks like a landing strip, right? You wouldn't want to render it all the way out to the edge. What you could do is you can set it up like this and then mask out this edge here, right? Or you can make this bigger so that you don't see this leading edge here, and then kind of fade this part out. You're gonna have to do some creative compositing, right? You guys have all had compositing, right? What? I don't know why, but they should make compositing a prereq to this class.
Yeah.
That's stupid that it's not. Anyways,
I was told the opposite when I was signing up for classes.
that you should do effects first,
VFX first and compositing. I was like, no, I'm gonna do it this way.
because you're constantly compositing visual effects together, not visual effectifying your composites all the time. Anyways, let's see what that looks like. Looks like a waterbed, kind of. Let's take this and hide it. And let's take this and make a shader for this that matches the ground a little bit. Awesome. Now, you'd obviously want to spend a little more time on your materials than I did right there, right? You guys all have material and lighting.
Would you be able to see the crack if you used a background shader?
What?
A background shader on the would it show as a crack, or would you just not be able to see it?
Well, it's got to break apart.
Yeah.
You would see if you used background shader on this, you would not see the crack because
Yeah, that'd be a quick way, but
It would negate it.
yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the gravity fields. So what I want to do with this is create a gravity field. I'm going to call this ground pusher. gravity, so I know what it is. Volume shape, I want to make it a cube. And let's say 20 for the magnitude, just because. I'm going to create that, and then I'm going to scale it up. Squash it down. Bring it over here. Basically, you're sandwiching this nCloth. Now, you don't want it on it, because what you're going to do is you're going to take your gravity and select your ground plane and go to Fields, Effect Selected Objects. Actually, we may need to crank this gravity way up. Wait a second. It's already affecting it, I think. It's already connected, okay. Oh, you know what? I think I may have selected the wrong thing. Actually, let's go up with it. And see if it actually lifts it. That's weird because it's pulling it up there. Why is it not pulling it up? Get rid of this. Hold on a second. If I have this selected, wait, why is it rigid body? I don't want that on there. Get rid of that. Oh, okay, that's what I did wrong. So I've got this nCloth 1. That's what I want to have affected by the gravity. So I want to make my gravity field cube. That looks good. Create that. Scale it up. Just to test it quick, let's see.
What was wrong with the last gravity field?
When I connected it, it made it a rigid body, which is not what I wanted. Let's see, nCloth 1, Fields, Effect Selected Objects. All right. Yeah, it's already sagging. You can see it. If I take this gravity and I make it negative,
Oh no.
yeah, and you have particles going up.
Same.
It's over 9,000! Let's put this back to 1,000. But like I said, this is a volume field. So if I take this and I pull it down like this, and I move it up like this, now it's not touching it at all. So it won't affect it at all. Right? Awesome. If I take this, move it over here, scale it up more. Pull it up. I'll duplicate it and move it down below it as well. So that way it has no gravity in between the two, but if that comet pushes it above or below, it's going to hit the gravity field and react the way it should. Know what I mean? So I just made a sandwich. A delicious gravity sandwich. Actually, you know what? That's weird because you don't call it a bread sandwich, right?
Yeah.
I just made an nCloth sandwich
Yeah, you did.
out of gravity fields.
It doesn't sound as appetizing as gravity sounds.
So actually, I don't think it ever really got pushed into them at all. Maybe a little bit. Yours may, depending on how fast you have your meteor coming in. And that could also work for if you've got nParticles, like you're doing the puddle and you're filling it with nParticles. You could do the same technique where it's not going to be affected by gravity until it gets projected into them, and then it'll react. A couple quarters ago, I did this, and somebody's like, "This project's really complicated." I was like, "Yeah, it's because it's the final." So I know there's lots of pieces, but it's the final. It's worth 30 points. Suck it up and make it awesome.
This is complicated.
Any questions? Do we have to do this? No, it's cool. I teach next quarter too.
Oh, you do?
I've got this class.
What were the
Advanced Visual Effects
classes you had?
Which ones?
The nParticles, just for the dust.
I didn't use clouds. I used balls.
How do I get balls?
Delete.
Throw a pair.
It's not funny, guys. He's trying to learn. Change that to balls.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's retarded in my eyes. Like you have to pick it first and then do it. Like it won't stay.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, I can't find a setting.
Thanks, Maya. You're stupid.
But still have what it has.
Giving me clouds instead of
If you
balls.
stop it,
Worse.
as long as it's stopped.
All right. The rest of this quarter is lab in here.
But if I stop it, well, you know, like above.